The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa says while developed countries have deployed over $13 trillion to respond to the economic impact of COVID-19, Africa only managed less than $100 billion.
Unless the African private sector, whether it is SMEs or medium or large corporations, are fully supported and incentivized by the government, we will continue to be in a model where there is significant leakages. In other words, a project that could actually be created locally and create jobs will result in reliance on import, and as a result, exporting jobs, and as a result, creating the condition for our external liability and debt to increase.
Many in the private sector say conditions to borrow remain prohibitive, and lawmakers agree.
Today we are talking about financing, but then you go to the bank and they ask you for all these other collaterals, which a young person may not really have. And for our case in Uganda, if you're married, you can no longer own land in where you were born. Neither will you be the owner of land where you're married, but you want to do a business. So how do I access financing for business?
Some citizens say countries should have begun financing recovery with funds they acquired from agencies such as the International Monetary Fund at the peak of the pandemic.
We were telling people, oh, please wash hands. But you go in many of our capitals, the reticulation system, the water distribution system is so bad. So people are asking, but wash with what? There is no water. We are telling people social distance, but people are living in squalid conditions. And so what we could have actually used, the huge amounts of monies that we were able to access, we could have actually used those resources to plunge into those spaces of building the social policy. Because the greatest challenge that we do have right now is that our social indicators are depressingly poor.
Delegates here have also highlighted the need for countries to double effort to invest in science and technology to boost education.
Simply to think about the integration of ICT or in all things that we're doing in our life. Leaving ICT behind, for sure, you have to prepare the failure of everything.
How to make the online courses as effective as they used to be in person. So there are techniques that must be used, and investment, and also the way the lecturers are delivering. So we all need to reflect on that and not doing things like we used to do in the past.
For all these recovery plans and more, the African Development Bank estimates that African governments will need financing worth over $480 billion in the next 3 years. Financial experts say that the pandemic has reduced external development finance inflows. They say that Africa must capitalize in promoting domestic financing through the African Continental Free Trade Area that will have the private sector as its core. Coletta Wanjohi for CGTN in Kigali, Rwanda.